in the end of the day, like everyone has a workplace to go to. But if you ask anybody why they typically leave, it's not because of money, it's because of culture, right? You can give someone a raise, try to keep them, but if they're leaving, they've already left you in their mind, right? Even if you give them a little bit more money, it's like a Band-Aid solution, right? They got attracted to the money, but then again, they're going to quickly be depressed again of why, I don't want to work here because the culture is not great. So what a lot of these mentors told me, it's like, it's a people business. We're in the business of people. And people is not just the customers that are coming in your door, it's the people that work for you, right? That work with you, right? And they have to be happy every single day they come to work, because if they're not happy, the money's only going to take them so long, right? So there's tons of people that will walk away from a 6-figure job because they're not happy when they come home, right? It's constant friction between different departments. It's constant friction with their bosses, right? They don't feel that they're heard or et cetera, or that their family's valued because they're family time. Like, it's a balancing act, right? And so in the end of the day, like at our dealership, all my department managers know that it's a people first, right? You need to invest in their success, and they will invest into our success. It is a two-way relationship. It's like a bank account. We deposit, they deposit. We withdraw when we need to withdraw, they withdraw when they need to withdraw, right? And so you have to, it's transactional that way, right? But as long as the transaction's not one way, people stick, right? And so that's how you grow retention. It's funny, the dealership business is known to be high turnover.
High turn.
A lot of people will leave a dealership after a few months or even after a year, right? But like one thing we take big pride at our dealership is that people stay for a long time, right? And we promote from within is our big thing. A lot of businesses will have to promote for managers from a different, company. It's not their own people that they're willing to promote, right? Because the reason is they never cared about people or culture. So if you don't care about elevating your bench strength and you don't have a bench strength, they're always going to be looking outside of your organization. And that's not a good look for anybody who works there, because they're going to say every single promotion happened from outside. So what does my future look like?
True.
Right? You can't feel good. And as a leader, how can you feel good about having to bring people from outside all the time?
So as a leader, how do you align the values of, or the core values, right? Culture is a big thing now. How do you align the core values of what St. James is to what the individual person, for example, what if they don't believe in like the people? Like, is that, then it's just not a culture fit, or is there a way to change the mindset?
So there's a book called Tribal Leadership, and I'd highly recommend the book to you guys. But what that book does, it helps you identify people in different stages of life. So there's like stage 1 to stage 5. And so your organization, you try to keep in a certain stage, but when someone enters the dealership as a new employee, right, you have to realize that they're not going to be at the same stage maybe as the dealership, and they're coming from maybe a different stage, and you have to help them get to the stage that the dealership's at. So like, for example, at stage 1, they talk about like life sucks. It's just a general outlook. Life sucks. These are people typically who, exposed to drugs, they're addicts, gang warfare. It's like the very extreme of society to be in part of. So they grew up in just a life sucks mentality, right? A leader, typically a leader is dealing with what we call stage 2 and stage 3. Stage 2 then becomes my life sucks. So you can acknowledge that it's not that life sucks. It's just I'm in a situation where I'm not doing the best. Right? And so a lot of individuals will be in a stage 2, right? They're not in drugs or gang warfare, not to the extreme, right? But they just think that everyone else has it better than I do, right? So as a leader, you need to identify like people who are in different stages of life. Stage 3 then becomes that, I'm the greatest, right? So it's a I mindset. It's not about anybody else. It's just that I feel good about myself, and that's all that matters, right? And then stage 4 becomes we are great. Right? And so as a leader, it's like very important that you build a team atmosphere. So it's like, how can I get that person to think it's not about I all the time? It's like when we succeed, that's the best form of happiness, right? And stage 5 is a very rare. It's not a typical stage, but stage 5 is that, the world's great, and that we're just going to work for the purpose of solely good only. Right? But that's typically people who are finding the cure for cancer that's beneficial for humanity, right? And so businesses may not operate at, that level of stage, but just to say that we are great is like the best enlightened stage you can be in, right? And so when we talk about it's like how you have an individual who comes and doesn't get the culture, it's not because they didn't get the culture, it's because you didn't identify what stage they're at and how can you help them nudge them to stage 4 eventually. right? So it's a diagnosing. You need to diagnose different people of your team and know what stages they're on and help them get to stage 4.
Yeah. Is there any like specific tactical things that you guys do at St. James when, like, let's say an employee comes in that kind of reinforces that culture right away?
Yep. I mean, right away, the first thing we do is it's a tour of the whole dealership, and you introduce them to every single department, right? It's like very important to not just be like, hey, he's a new salesperson. Just meet the new salespeople. Don't worry about the rest of the dealership. That happens in some places, right? It's like, well, why do they need to concern themselves with, service or parts right now? Like that can be later on, right? But it's like, no, if we're one team, then you need to operate as one team, and that means introducing that person to every single department, right? They should know who everyone is. They might not remember all the names, but they'll remember that it's like, hey,
this person.
who is this person, right? We do something called a town hall that happens once a month. We actually recognize new team members in that town hall. So we make them stand in the middle. We all celebrate them. Congratulations for joining St. James Volkswagen. But town hall it's an information exchange that I hold at the dealership. And it allows different department managers to talk about successes, areas of opportunity, things that may have not gone well by department, right? And so most dealerships, they don't do things like that. They stick to their own silos, let's call it, right? And they celebrate each other's successes in their own silos, but no one shares information with each other, right? So it's like, I am very much about culture, and I do this intentionally where we have these large group meetings once a month. I provide lunch to the whole staff. Like, everyone gets to just chat with each other in a big setting, right? Rather than it's just like your 2-3 friends that you hang out with every single day at work, right? So it's like, I'm trying to encourage, cross networking within my own dealership. Right? If someone gets promoted, we celebrate them, right? Like internal promotions, we're like, hey, an internal promotion happened this month. Let's congratulate this person, right? So it's very intentional and tactical, like you said. It's just to make sure that we stick like glue.
Is this because you maybe saw other dealerships when you were first starting not do these things?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
What were some of the major red flags when you like saw these dealerships? You're like, I can't believe they're not doing this.
You know what? I think the biggest, like, I'm not here to name names of that too, right? But when I've seen dealerships or worked in dealerships, it's lots of like fighting between departments, right? Like, you have your sales department, right? You rely on service to, let's say, like safety a car. You have to safety the car in order to sell the car, right? Service doesn't care about prioritizing you, like your last priority. I don't care you sold the car. Like, we got other people to deal with right now. You're bottom of the list. Right? So it's like that kind of mentality is not operating as one team, right? That salesperson's never going to feel good about the service department, right? And so they get secluded back to just, their team only, right? And it's like, one thing I take big pride in is like, my department managers work so well with each other, and they welcome each department's employees back and forth, and we give them information that's actionable and there's solutions behind it, right? We talk about it if there's no solution. Like, it's very open. Gotcha. Open dialogue, doesn't matter who the employee is.
Yeah.